Anti-relationship, some people are either selfish or dysfunctional. Chapter 1. Anti-love, people who don't want love, to be in a relationship, not asexuals who don't like sex. It's simple, we live in a world of narcissism more than ever. When I was younger, where we had our summer cottage, a couple of artists lived in the area. They were single older men, which was rare in the 1960s. Everybody was expected to marry back then. They were doing their own thing. I went over there several times. They had a bunch of paintings, sculptures, and were making furniture by hand. These guys were artists in the true sense of the word. They felt a strong urge to do their own thing, express their natural energy in their own way. I was brought up a Catholic. I remember the statement. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, lovers. 2 Timothy 3:2-3:4. Nowadays, with social media on the internet, the message is to be a star. Go online, post your meaningless junk up about your frivolous life, then get attention from strangers. It never ends. It's getting worse. A lot of people want admiration, easy money, an easy life, to play video games all day long, gamble, etc. Many of these people are not capable of romantic love. When you're brought up watching intimate strangers on a screen, you do not develop close, intimate relationships with people. I think we're heading straight towards rotten as the human race, partially due to the internet, which encourages narcissism, self-love, en masse. There is a documentary called Bad Vegan about this lazy slob of a guy who refuses to work, marries a nice, naive girl who runs a vegetarian restaurant in New York City, ends up plundering $1.5 million from her, then stealing $400,000 from her mother. He's a totally selfish guy. How many people like him exist in the real world? Why don't people get into relationships? Because they're selfish pigs who would rather live for themselves than share their lives with anybody. Simple mental illness, a slob, a geek, an asshole. When I was coming of age in the 1980s, we didn't have the internet. There was one mainstream culture. Young people went out looking to pair up. Nowadays, with the internet, we got everything. We got guys playing video games all day long. We got gamblers gambling on poker, sports, etc. We got instant porn and cyber sex. You can order food and have it delivered to your door. You got forums and groups spouting strange ideas. You got the MGTOWs, the red-pilled and black-pilled guys not looking for relationships because they think all girls are bitches. I cover these anti-relationship guys in my man book. What about poor people? You got this squeaky clean image of success and coolness on TV, then in real life, you got a guy who's a coal miner, rents a room in a boarding house, is struggling just to pay bills, maybe has stinky socks, etc. Women have always had high expectations, but in real life guys are working average jobs to pay bills. As a guy, how do you expect to have confidence in dating when you don't own a car because you don't have the money? When I went to college, I remember meeting many girls who thought they were queen of the walk, they deserved some rich guy's son with a sports car studying to be a lawyer. This twain will never meet. Average guys trying to get by versus the delusional chicks with their romantic fantasies. Romantic love is not everything. After you get enlightened, freedom is not some hippie adventure of anything goes. It's you choosing to follow the music inside rather than the pull of your society to take a dull job, get married, have kids, and buy stuff. There's no choice. You know you must honor yourself each and every day. Each person has a destiny to pursue that exists independently of other people. It is what you would do even if you had all the love and money you want. Love is only real if your lover supports your destiny. Romantic love for its own sake is not enough. You answer to the person in the mirror every day, or at least you should. If you're tapped into your true nature, you shouldn't feel lonely much because you're happy living your life. You attract potential lovers this way. Love contrarian, Let's go past convention. Love is an ideal, reality isn't. All ideals crumble when you see the real person and when they age. Everybody says they're companions, comfortable with each other in old age, but what's the big deal about trading in one spouse for another or adding another spouse as in polygamy? We have archaic views about love in our society. The truth is simple. The more you live as you are the way you were born, therefore the more real you are in presenting yourself to the world, the more I and most other people respect you and the more we're attracted to you. Contrary to the cultural myths put forth by the mass media marketing machine, in the real world we all have an inherent intuitive judgment system within ourselves that enables us to see the essence of a person, their souls bared so to speak within a few seconds to minutes after seeing them for the first time. For those of us free enough to not get indoctrinated to look for a capitalist, pop culture caricature of success and happiness, the search for love or sex partners is easy. Just follow your intuition without getting sucked into the clothes a person is wearing, the type of car they drive, the square footage of their houses, or how cool they appear to be based on their knowledge and imitation of the current pop culture. This is counterintuitive to the massive marketing machine out there telling girls to color their hair 'cause they're worth it and to buy into the stereotype that a girl who likes to shop for frivolous stuff is a real cool, happenin', liberated chick. The cool image for successful conservative guys is supposedly the guy in the Armani suit, wearing sunglasses, on his cell phone driving around in his expensive car constantly working to build some illusory capitalist empire. For the liberal guys, it's to be a cross between a sensitive wimp and a hippie, eco-tree hugger, granola type with long hair, maybe a ponytail, wire-rimmed glasses with deep, sensitive eyes. Regardless of the image a guy chooses to play that he borrowed from the outside world, it's all a pretense to get chicks and hide his insecurities because all guys are basically same underneath the image. It's not that we're purposely dogs. It's just we were born that way. You can never underestimate the roles hormones play in human behavior. Testosterone is the sex hormone for men and women, but men have 8 to 10 times more than women. The truth in the love game is the exact opposite of the marketing messages you see on TV. If you want to attract a person of substance, don't try to be trendy and cool based on all the TV commercials that are directed at women's vanity or men's capitalist success and machismo. Be yourself. Be modest. Be who you are. Look at your life as a case study of one and try to do whatever it is that's original and inspired within you that you were born with, and you'll have a much greater chance of attracting a worthy soulmate than trying to imitate some image you got from your culture. If you're naturally sensuous and passionate about your life, first of all, don't let the world brainwash you. Secondly, be who you were born to be. Don't let them screw with you by turning you into some soulless, nerdy workaholic working for their ideas of success and happiness, sacrificing the real horny, sexy, free, happy you in the process. This has already happened to millions of people. Plenty of young girls are adventurous and free, but by the time they're 30, most are either brainwashed to pursue their careers very seriously, looking to have babies and be good mothers, or depressed because they haven't found their mythical Prince Charming yet and they know they ain't exactly getting better. They're getting replaced by younger, fresher girls. There are very few girls over 30 willing to be sensual hedonists for the sensations of it 'cause that's what they feel, but there are a few. If you're presenting some image to the world, you might attract brainwashed people like yourself, but from my experience out there, people that are brainwashed by something and not following their true natures the way they were born in their souls always end up crashing and burning in the void of existential emptiness at some point in time. So why bother with people like that if you're looking for love? Look for somebody with enough of an identity to try to be artists of their lives. They're stable. They're not like lost souls always looking for some gimmick to fill them up. It'll save you a lot of headaches in the long run. Just about every single person I know around 50 years old or older, men and women alike, lament the fact that they aren't paired up and think that life has passed them by, that their best days for finding love and enjoying life are behind them. Most of us want both deep human connections and free-flowing, unlimited carnal sex, but you generally can't get both with one partner in a monogamous relationship. Some people don't even get one of the two in a relationship. What are you supposed to do? I never get too soppy or deep. Romantic love can add to my sense of identity, but it can never replace it, which is why I beat out just about everybody in the experience of life, because I don't get neurotic about things I don't have that society says I should have. So many people destroy themselves either looking for love, because they're not in love, or because they're in a horrible relationship. Some of us are too untamed to be in monogamous relationships. Life is lived as it happens day by day. I know at least half a dozen guys who are more interested in their booze and drug hobbies than being family men. Personally, I crave the sensations of the upper limits of the human experience. A relationship is only one part of life. I'd say it is or shouldn't be any more than 15% of an individual's life. With all the other activities I do every day, 15% of your energy dedicated to your sweetheart is plenty enough to keep anybody in love with you. A lot of girls are flash and show. They don't want to do much beyond shop and watch gossip shows on TV. If you live for inspired action from the soul, as many creative, bohemian types do, nobody can keep up with you or share your experiences anyway, many of which are solitary, such as writing, painting pictures, playing an instrument, working out, etc. No matter what, we're all still loners in our heads, ultimately answering only to ourselves. Nobody seems to want to admit this existential fact of the human condition. Everybody is always trying to act like they're deeply connected to some in-crowd or other people somewhere, when the truth is that survey studies bear out that most couples don't even know each other all that well, based on comparing self-analysis questionnaires with how the person's spouse evaluates him or her. In my own family in the past, I called relationships a circular affair. Sometimes there was peace and intimacy in the house. Other times, I felt like we were all on different planets. My conclusion about life for most people is this endless ebb and flow of human relationships going around in a circle, fluctuating between moments of intimacy followed by long periods of generic living intersprinkled with hate and triviality as someone gets angry and takes it out on a supposed loved one. I only had the true, comfortable feeling of pure love a few times when I was young and too untamed to appreciate it. Very few of us live romantic lives with deep, profound soulmates regardless of how long we've been married, so I say get real. Accept who you are, accept your life. Those idealistic romantic visions you have in your head may come true or may not. In any event, when you wake up every morning, the only person you really answer to is yourself. Do you make a conscious effort to earn your self-respect every day? How can you be a great lover if you don't respect yourself first, and anybody 10 pounds or more overweight doesn't respect themselves? If they did, they wouldn't be overweight. Contrarian views on love and sex. Most marriage is not about love but possession and control. Only a tiny few marriages are fulfilling the partners. To institutionalize a loving relationship, to bring the church and state into it, and to create penalties for withdrawing it at a later time, is a part of the downfall of society. How can someone be expected to commit themselves to another person for the rest of their lives when they're young and immature? Who knows what lies ahead or how the two will change in their attitude to life and each other? According to the mental illness of the institution of marriage, it is better to continue a marriage which both partners hate than to bring it to a natural conclusion and free the partners to find love elsewhere. Children are punished if they are not born into a family made up of a married couple by becoming called bastards. Love should be the bond which holds two people in a relationship, not a piece of paper and a law created by the government and the church. Most marriages are not based on love. They are based on financial security, habit, social conformity, friendship, loneliness, and the fear of being alone. Our love for one does not have to diminish our love for another. We can love several people simultaneously. No one person can provide everything another person will need for the rest of their lives. If we were born into a world that didn't fret over monogamy, the pain caused by relationships and sex would not exist. The misuse and manipulation of sex by religion and the media has led to massive guilt, fear, and resentment in our attitude to sex. Once you have a marriage certificate, you are no longer supposed to have any sexual experience with anyone except your official partner. This denies you from experiencing who you are in your full, true nature. We want to impose our blueprint on others, and only if people conform to that do we love them, or rather think we love them. Denial always stimulates an obsession with whatever you are denying. Sexual denial is huge. You try to suppress your sexual feelings because of fear and guilt, but you can't. Sex comes out one way or another. Sexually frustrated people often become hateful, angry people as a compensation for their unexpressed sexuality. Never be afraid to experience who you really are away from brainwash. Marriages in general have become a prison of denial based on conditional love. Love is about loving without conditions of any kind. Why do we have legal contracts for it called marriage licenses? Love is never about the possession and ownership of another person. Love is not about emotional control or dependence on how you're feeling or how your love object is treating you. It's always there regardless of the emotions of the moment. True love is doing what's best for your love object even if it's tough love that seems to hurt them at the time. People can love more than one person at the same time. Love in its purest, most magical form, has no ifs or buts or maybes. Love is to desire what is best for another, even if it is not what we wish to happen. The greatest love anyone can have for another is to let them go if that is what is best for them. Love is to love someone so completely that nothing they can ever do could destroy the way you feel about them. Two whole people respect and encourage the other's right to express their uniqueness. If you have expectations of someone, you will probably be disappointed. Once we let go of expectations, we are free for anything to happen. Relationships founded on unconditional love with no expectations of each other are the only great ones. Watch a cynical guy on love on youtube.com. Find the YouTube channel jrex918, the guy with glasses. Find his videos where he talks about how fake love is, that everyone wants something. Chapter 2. A strong first love can stop you from falling in love again. A strong first love leaves a template on your soul that you never quite get over. You search for that person over and over again in new relationships. It was the kind of desperate, headlong, adolescent calf love that he should have experienced years ago and got over. Agatha Christie, Remembered Death, 1945. First love is a bit of foolishness and a lot of curiosity. There's something wired into us that releases oodles more hormones the first 2 or 3 times we fall in love, and the memories seem to imprint deeply in some of us and stay for life. Everything's so intense, exciting, intoxicating and deep during this magical time. For some people, I don't think the memories of first love ever leave. I'm writing this short piece because I saw a woman on a talk show who said she never stopped thinking about her first love for 30 years while she was married to someone else. They're kind of like the standard by which we measure all other loves, and often they fall short. One guy said he felt a certain way with his first love, and as time passed, he never felt that way with anyone else ever again, so he went back looking for her. Once you've been in love strongly for the first time, I wonder if any other love you have in life can ever reach that pure, high level. You're only pure, new, and innocent once. If you go through an intense love for your first time, it seems that no matter what happens after that, regardless of how it ended, you're still somewhere stuck in that romantic haze. Even if you meet another bombshell, it seems that you still reminisce about those times with your first love. These are your formative years. It's like the first love is the blueprint for your future love life. There's something about strong first loves that stay with people for the rest of their lives. Even if you meet somebody really nice and fall in love again, you still find yourself thinking about your first love sometimes. If it happens to you, you just gotta accept it and live with it. You can never totally get rid of those ghosts of powerful, lost loves from the past. Maybe it's a good thing, who's to say? This is the theme of some love movies. After some conflicts, people get back together in the end, but in real life, it doesn't happen much. You gotta cut it off in your own mind and not live in those delusions. Every time you start thinking about this person, refuse to do it. Distract yourself with other thoughts or another activity. People change. They're not the same as they were 20 years ago. They're all hardened and made more rational by life. I've watched some of these shows where the guy had this vision of some girl from 30 years ago in college bound up in his mind as this angelic being. Then when he sees her, he doesn't see the beauty of 30 years ago. He sees a generic, aging, chubby older woman. His vision is shattered and she feels bad because she senses that he sees an ordinary older woman, not this dreamboat he had been thinking of all these years. Another ghost is the one of the missed love. You meet a possible soulmate, you both know it, but one, probably you, are too caught up with your life or otherwise not secure about yourself and you let her go. You will be doomed to forever curse yourself because you missed out on your chance for happiness. Should you to sacrifice everything to meet her or pass on it, then kick yourself forever. Chapter 3. Some people aren't born for an intimate relationship. Types of people. Most people are not that complicated once you peel away the phony exterior. You're looking for the heart, soul, and essence of a person. What makes them tick? What is their motivation? What inspires them when they get out of bed in the morning, if anything? First off, I generally believe that you can read a person's essence very quickly by looking at their face and body. That's their biography. Youth is a time of grace, but shortly after the age of 25, the way they live becomes what they look like. If you take care of your body or don't take care of it, it shows. Your body is a measure of self-respect or lack of it. In the face, facial beauty is not the issue. It's the amount of natural joy imprinted in the face. Someone can be blessed with good looks but still have a glum face or a plain face because they're not living a happy, inspired life. When you see true joy for life in a face, you know it, but it's not common. If you want an in-depth look at what makes a person happy, refer to my Free Spirits book. It's about knowing the natural standard on how you should live your life and releasing that energy every day. Truly happy people are happy within themselves by what they do. They don't care about projecting a certain image onto others because they don't have to. They're happy as is. This is one of my criteria in judging people. Are they happy as is because they know their true identity and constantly release that energy, or are they projecting some kind of image because they're not happy enough just being themselves? If I see a guy with earrings on, a girl overdressed with trendy clothes and colored hair, somebody driving a cheesy sports car, somebody who's a name dropper, a show-off, a big mouth or a brag guard, they are consciously doing these things to try to get attention from others for one reason or another. If you're happy with yourself, you don't need to try to act cool, high or mighty to get others to notice you because you're happy within yourself. Look at the motivation. Do they live by soul, their real selves, or image, some fake self they're manufacturing about themselves? If I'm looking for a wife, I'm looking for a girl being her real self, someone who has discovered the beauty within herself and lives to release that energy without having to go around trying to act like some fashion diva or something like that. Having said all that, I'll end it by saying most people have a simple motivation behind them. They pick one thing or it picks them, and that's what they live by. It could be money, status, love, religion, pro basketball, TV, food, booze, etc. Most people really are simple. Try to figure out what turns their crank for real and you've found the soul of the person. Here are a few stereotypes. Artist. Thinks life has a deep meaning, too self-absorbed with being profound rather than living for joy day by day. Athlete. Lives to release physical energy. Big dude. May try to intimidate people by his size. Acts stupid to fool people but usually has average intelligence. Cheapo. Too cheap to spend money on anything. Complainer, bitch. Elitist nag. Could physically hurt you because she'll take a fit if she doesn't get her way. Couch potato. Always wants the easy way out, something for nothing. Dreamboat. Funny, good looking, complimentary, has money, likes sex. Don't exist much in the real world. Grumpy. Cynical, hates the world. Hypochondriac/winner. Someone always acting sickly as an excuse for being too wimpy to live a gutsy life. Ice queen. No fun, humorless snob. Joker. Tries to make everything seem smooth by telling jokes. Never serious. Mr. Anxiety. Always worried that the sky is about to fall in. Mr. Energy. Wants sex all the time. Mr. Moneybags. Thinks money is the key to happiness, having lots of things. Mr. Nice Guy. Friendly enough but don't expect a leader or a sexual dynamo. Mr. Religion. Living a limited life bowing down to some creed. Good for him but he is brainwashed. Mr. Sensitive. Nice guy, family man, conformist but wimpy and nerdy. Mr. Status. Thinks flaunting material superiority in front of others will get him attention, respect, and a good feeling inside. Mr. Superficial, non-committal. No backbone, no identity, nothing definite. No direction, no decisions. Mrs. Dramatic. Way over the top. New age types. Need wacky ideas to give themselves a sense of worth. Psychologist/intellectual. Mr. Know-it-all, acts like he knows everything, always analyzing you. Straight, strict, drill sergeant. Boring guy still brainwashed by achievement motivation he was taught in grade school. Playing some illusory game of notches in his belt. Always serious, always competing. The baby. Acts helpless to get sympathy. The dreamer. Doesn't live in the real world. The exploiter. Uses who he can. Cons people. The prosecutor. Too many questions. The seducer. Thinks that sex will make it all better. Wild guy or gal. Drinking all the time and doing stupid things because they have no real stable identity. Fun for a while but risky. Wimp, doormat. Is easily led. So desperate for friendship, they'll do anything to keep it. Generic people looking for heroes. Very few of us have deep, intimate connections that stir our souls except with our pets and kids, and they are more maternalistic than a pure, equal, loving, soulmate/kindred spirit love affair. Most of our relationships are either superficial or symbiotic, including marriages. There are very few mythological soulmate relationships as love is portrayed in movies and literature simply because most of us are generic people. How can we expect to have a great soul-stirring love affair when we are not inspired or original enough to stir that sensibility in another person such that they see us this beautiful, mythical, bohemian, lusty, sensual creature that is the object of their desires? It ain't happenin' much. Self-sabotage red flags. It's wise to take a look at yourself and ask if you sabotage your relationships. Quite often, people do it subconsciously, unwilling to confront themselves as to the why of it all. I won't get too deep here except to say that you should check these red flags over and ask yourself if any of them apply to you. Hate yourself or at least think that you're a lowlife, no talent generic piece of flesh. You cling to a Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, or Prince Charming fantasy. Expect too much in a first date or the first few minutes. Give it time. Live up to your parents' expectations, i.e. get married before you're 30. Get sucked into an arranged introduction by your parents, then stick with the guy out of obligation. Subconsciously repeat your parents' unhappy relationship through yours. Date a married man and think he will leave his wife. Usually, they don't. Deep down, you feel that you don't deserve to be happy, and if you are, something bad will happen to you. Hold yourself back career-wise because you think it makes you look unfeminine. You blame yourself for everything that goes wrong in a relationship. Unwilling to settle/compromise enough to date most prospective suitors. Angry and antisocial in general for whatever reason. Looking to marry up in social class. Refuse to date someone with less formal education than you. You're fat to avoid intimacy. Refuse to date people younger or older than you. You eat to deal with emotional problems. Move too quickly in a relationship. Booze. Dress like a China doll and act like one. Put too much emphasis on looks. Too obsessed with finding him/her. Stay in a bad relationship because you're afraid to be alone. Date a guy in prison so you can't have intimacy. Long distance relationship. Internet relationship as opposed to the real thing. Hold unrealistic expectations. Get depressed because of lack of success. Go out with an expectation of another night of losers to meet. Aren't satisfied being alone by yourself. You're attracted to men who abuse you. Constantly criticize all your past lovers in your mind to yourself. Let people cheat on you and otherwise treat you bad. Pressure your new beau about commitment. Unwilling to open up to trust anyone. Once you find someone, you stop trying to be a great lover. Amoraphobia, fear of romance because it means risk and commitment. You feel that you can catch any man. You analyze your relationship too much. So afraid of rejection that you remain socially passive. Cling to the belief that there is only one soulmate out there. Willing to have sex too willingly to keep someone. Engage in one-night stands looking for Mr. Goodbar. Put yourself on a lofty pedestal of narcissism. Work out some unresolved conflict in your relationships with men. Seek out troubled types to mother and rescue. Make excuses for yourself not to go out. Treat romance as a logical enterprise with a checklist of needs a man must satisfy. Not willing to give up some of your freedom and independence. Overly romantic belief that love will solve all your problems. Look at love as a material means of acquisition. You're looking for someone who will take care of you. You're looking for someone to take care of/control.